You're listening to Dad Bods, Dad Boss, the podcast where we tackle ins and outs of business
and tech, streamline your work-life balance, and navigate the journey of being a dad in today's world.
I'm Shane.
I'm Q. And Eric is here too.
And every week we bring you tips, tricks, and healthy dose of dad wisdom.
Ready to boss your business and your life. Let's
Recording
dive
button.
in.
As we're recording, we are now recording. And welcome back, guys, to Dad Bods, Dad Boss, the show where we talk everything related to business, relationships, being a man in today's world, and coming in hot from his brand new G-Wagon, Mr. Eric himself. How are you, my man?
I'm not a car person, but I actually seen these videos where they pull up the guys in the G-Wagon and ask them, what do you do for work? That's why I know what a G-Wagon is. But yeah, a G-Wagon very soon. But yeah, feeling good. I have to pick up my little one after that. That's why I'm in the car, just coming back from Brisbane for the weekend. That was good. Had an event there. Over 110 people in the room. That was good. 110 fathers, ran an awesome event there. So, yeah, I'm back now, getting ready to start the week. What is it, second quarter of the year? Oh, crazy, huh? It's already ended last day of Q1 today, going into Q2. Let's make it happen. Exciting, man.
100%. Now, it's funny you brought that up because I've actually got on my to-do list for today is to reflect on Q1, right? You know, and if you, as a, and not just as a business owner, but as just a, you know, someone who's working and progressing, take the time to actually reflect on what's happened on the first 3 months so that we can, you know, learn from what went well, what didn't work well, so we can make those necessary progresses in the next quarter. And mate, in my top left-hand corner, he's already waiting with anticipation. We have Mr. Red-Capped Mannequin. How are you?
Red-capped mannequin. I feel like I should be in the shop window. Oh, now I'm glitching. See, that's how much I don't like that name. I'm going to glitch out. I'm going to drop out. You guys are going to have to do this all on your own. Going good, mate. Going good. Busy weekend. I was just mentioning there, just helping on a Dr. Joe Dispenza workshop with our good friend Simone. So that was pretty cool. Always great to see the transformations and the shifts that come from that as well.
Yeah. And, you know, speaking of the weekend, right? You know, Eric's been away doing his high performance Sava stuff. Shane's been supporting others, doing, you know, business trainings. And for myself over the weekend, we had my sister's wedding, right? Really, really big, you know, explosion of culture. And, you know, like in my family, you know, I was the first one to get married, you know, and that was like 12 years ago. And little did we know that it would take 12 years for another wedding in our family to take place, right? But that's how the cookie crumbled. That's how it played out. And it was a big celebration of, you know, cross cultures because, you know, I don't know if you can tell, but just by looking at me, like I'm not white Australian, right? I'm not Caucasian. I'm actually
No way. I don't believe it. I don't believe it, mate.
Right? Hard to believe.
I just thought you loved hanging out at the beach.
Yeah. This I'm white and I've just got my tan on, and you know, and she married a Lebanese guy, and again, you know, different cultures, different traditions, and we celebrated, you know, and we integrated, and the way they integrated both cultures was really, really awesome, you know, and that just made me think, like, you know, in this day and age, like, you know, there's more, I guess, less emphasis on marriage and weddings as they were back in the 50s, 60s, even 80s, right? And we've got like little Kai here just sneaking in. You know, we saw you, Kai. You want to give everyone a wave? And we're doing this real, guys. So this is real, but like, hey, you know, for three of us, we all have our own different experience of marriage. And Shane, for yourself, man, like love to get your just current thoughts on marriage, weddings, you know, your experiences, and we'll take that conversation to where it goes.
Cool. What do you want to know? I'm pretty experienced in them, mate.
Let's go back to your first experience then, or I guess growing up, what was your expectations around marriage?
Yeah. I mean, we joke, but I guess the first one was a bit more of the traditional thing. Like we were both from farming backgrounds, very much like, grow up, meet someone, get married, have kids and stuff like that. And we were both of that background. So we had the traditional type wedding at the family farm and stuff like that, small, well, I'd say a small number. I think it was about 90 people came to that wedding, but it was just based on really what I guess we had witnessed growing up with our parents around. You meet someone, you get married, you just go ahead and carry on with that. So it was to start a family and all that kind of stuff as well. So we got married, had some kids and stuff like that, and it was just standard sort of operation. That's probably not the right word for it, is it? But anyway, that's the way what it turned out to be. And then if you think more, like we fast forward now to with Jade, so you guys know we got married almost a year ago, 50 weeks ago, and then we're going to get remarried next week because we did it in New Zealand. We're going to have the Australian wedding next week. But this it's the same thing. It's, we've decided, we made that commitment. We want to be together. We want to have a family together. So we just want to, the reason for us, I mean, this is Jade's first marriage, but it's just to have the family, to be the united family officially the united family on paper and everything as well. Does it change who we are? Not really. It doesn't change anything about the people we are. It just changes the last name and the official recognition that we are husband, wife, and got children.
Yeah, 100%. And the other thing that it also changes is your bank account, right?
What are you talking about? Oh, did yours inflate as well? Did yours get bigger too?
Yeah, it was looking real nice at one stage, and then bang, where did it go?
Exactly. So true, mate. So true. Or, I mean, it's true though, but then at the end of the day, if I think about it, by doing that, it stretched me to grow the business more, to provide more. Whereas previously we were relying on two incomes, so we got comfortable. We could have easily got really comfortable and go, oh yeah, we can live on that. We can live on X number of $1,000s a year. And then by dropping that, it's like, oh, okay, now I've got this opportunity to, we either cut back our living expenses and just survive on the one income, or stretch my thinking, stretch my my business mind and go, well, how can I grow the business even more to cover what we had as a dual income? And actually now I'm in the growth phase. So it's like, well, actually, I've done that much more. What else is possible? So on the flip side, it turned out really good because it got me out of my comfort zone and started making me think bigger rather than think bigger than what I had been thinking prior to Jade, falling pregnant and then taking time off work.
Yeah, beautiful, man. And it's those little intangibles that come with running a business that aren't in the business books or in the business schools, that once you start to consume life, you think of the exponential potential to make it all happen, which is really cool, man. And Eric, like you've shared with us many times that you grew up single parent family and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, how did that have an impact on your view around weddings, marriage, that kind of stuff, right?
Yes. I mean, as you said, growing up with a single mother, or we left dad when I was 7 years old. I just came into school, but they weren't married. Yeah, so certainly wasn't the goal when I was growing up. My first relationships was never really maybe different to like Shane then, the environment, right? Where it was normal that people are married and you're living somewhere at the farm and that's what you do. So I never really had this really as my goal when I was growing up. That's actually, that's very different. Growing up in a pretty big city as well, right? So not really in a traditional city, let's say. My grandparents, they're married for 60 years on the other hand. So I definitely seen it, so it's not that I wasn't exposed to it. But yeah, it was never really the goal. I think when I was growing up, it was more about education, doing your school, doing your studies. So, and then I came to Australia and then here again, starting new. So it actually never was really a topic until I met Tiff, which is 6 years ago. And then we got engaged 3 years ago, maybe. Yeah, so we have to finalize that as well. It's a good topic. I can bring it up with her. Yeah,
don't bring it up with her, mate. That might go bad. She might remind you that it was 3 years ago.
That's right, yeah. Now we have to seal the deal. We have to seal the deal still, but now with Tiff it's different, right? So obviously we have already one child, want to have some more kids. So it's for me now, like really understanding and thinking about the traditional family values and what it means, to be married. Not that same like what Shane said. Not that anything will really change for us, but the symbolic day of being married. I think it's something that has meaning, and like value and like, especially in this time we are living in, where things don't mean so much anymore and everything is so fluid and everybody can be whatever they want to be and everything is so fast, right? And I think it's something that has a lot of meaning, and then it's whatever meaning you give it as well, of course, but I think definitely one of the goals that I have now to finalize that, and also wearing the ring. It's kind of thing because I'm hanging out with so many fathers now, and most of them are married. I'm sitting there without my ring, and there's something symbolic about just having this ring there. Yeah, so definitely changed for me. Short answer. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, mate. And if it's cool with you, Eric, like what you shared there, hey, like, you're engaged, but then you guys, had a family and Tiff, and you're looking to increase your like family, right? To add more love into the world. And I don't know about you guys, but like it seems like everything with wedding in front of it costs like 10 times more, right?
Don't even joke. Don't even joke.
And so you want to increase your you want to give little Sophia a sibling and have a bigger family, but how much of a consideration are you putting into like the finances as well, because it's gonna like have an impact, right?
Yeah. I mean, big family. Tiff's coming from a very big family, so it'll be a big wedding for sure. But I haven't really looked so much in the numbers. Most of what I know from like other people who got married, certainly a consideration. But then also it's like one day, right? It's a really special day, getting everybody together and celebrate together. But certainly, right? If you then think, okay, you have a really awesome wedding, or you put down a deposit for a house or for an investment property, it's a interesting consideration, to build your wealth, or having like this big fancy party and events to do some really fancy weddings before. And I heard the numbers there. It's like, wow, it's nearly already the investment property. Yeah, so again, I guess like a balance for us there. Obviously, family will support as well. But yeah, I will look closely next week when we go to Shane's wedding, and then we will make a decision.
Do you wanna sub out, mate? Just want to change out, or you guys can just jump in at the back end of it.
Come on, and then we can share costs. Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
We're not sharing the honeymoon suite, mate.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right. You're on the deck. You're on the balcony.
You can. We'll make sure that there's a curtain up between
A
the
sheet. Hang a sheet. Just hang a sheet down the bed, mate, down the middle of the bed.
You guys are too funny. And as you said there, Shane, like this is life happens, and you're going through this process again. What have you noticed that's kind of like, are there any similarities, or what are the difference between like you going through the first time and you going through it now? What have you kind of like seen, or even like differences or similarities within you? Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, the first thing is, we talk about the cost. If it's got wedding in front of it, then it's 3 times the price. Which is, I mean, it's true. Like I've seen it. Like, hey, we need a photographer. Oh, what is it for? Wedding. Oh, you want this package? It's like, no, hang on a minute. Like, what if this was a kid's birthday, or if this was just a day out? Same with all the like a wedding cake. We got some astronomical quotes on wedding cakes. It's just like, dude, I'm going down to Coles and getting the $35 one. No, not really, but it's so true. And even the last example I give is my brother got married a couple of years ago now, and it was a real quiet wedding. Like they went up the old farm where we were born and stuff, and his fiance, she went and got her hair done, and she was getting it done, and they were just doing it. They thought she was just going to a ball or something, and at the end she goes, "Oh yeah, this is for I'm getting married later today." And they went, "Oh, is this for a wedding? Oh, we've already quoted. Damn, we have, because they'd already quoted her, right? Whereas if they knew that, it would have been twice the price or whatever." So what's the similarities? The similarities is back then when I first got married, which was 20 something years ago, it was still the same. Everyone put an inflation on it, which personally I think is ridiculous. But what it really, I guess the thing that's really important out of this is it's really important for people. Like it's about us, the two of us, but it's really important for other people there as well. And that's why there's a lot of significance involved, I guess, in the wedding, whether it's you as the husband and wife or you as the father of the bride or the groom or whatever, right? So I think a lot of the people spend a lot of money because it buys significance. They're buying significance out of it, which is why they spend even more money on flowers and more money on a cake and more money on an expensive photographer, more money on an expensive venue and location, because they want the significance. But at the end of the day, it's only one day. And what you're really doing is buying memories, and the photos are just reminding you of how you felt significant in that moment. So if you break it down, like, what am I really buying when I invest or when I spend the money on this wedding? It's a great thing to start thinking about. And what do you really need and what don't you need? Because the memories are photos and videos for sure, but it's the stories that you tell each other, that you talk about in the future. That's what you keep.
Yeah, 100%, mate. And when we got married, and it was a clash of culture because Carly's Anglo-Saxon, Caucasian, and the wedding traditions are different to Vietnamese wedding traditions, right? And then so obviously there's going to be a clash of ideas and clash of organizations. But my sister shared with Carly that this is kind of like true, and it applies to all cultures, right? So she because Carly was just having a moment, it's like, I want this to be my day. Like, why is everything so hard? And my sister just comforted and said that, hey, when a Vietnamese child gets married, right, it really is just for the Vietnamese parents to celebrate that day, right? And take Vietnamese out and put that whatever culture it is in there. It's not just the people getting married. It is significant for the parents and the other parties as well. So that's really something to remember. As much as you want it to be your day, it's also going to be their day because they want to have those memories, that they can cherish as well. So that's come to terms with that, and that'll help make the bridal or the wedding experience a bit more easy to navigate. But like, we get married for a reason. We get married because it's a sign of commitment. It's a sign of your enduring love for your partner. And so, like, Eric, if you like, you talk about having a family there, do you feel like that this wedding, like, hypothetically down the road, if you don't have a wedding, is that going to have an impact on you and Tiff? Like, will it impact how you guys view each other? Will it impact, like, do you really need this? Yeah, love to get your thoughts on that because you guys are in a relationship now. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe not. Good point. Not really to us, but then to the family, for sure. There's certain expectations, Tip is from a Catholic family, so there's a big meaning of wedding. I'm not raised in a religious family, so maybe it doesn't mean that much, even though my grandparents, as I said, over 60 years now. It's crazy to think, 61 or 62 years together. Crazy, yeah?
Wow.
So since they got married, actually longer together, but when they got married, long time. So wouldn't really make a difference to us, but for the family, I think. And then again, it's something meaningful, right? In this world we are living, where things don't mean that much anymore. And so I think it's something traditional, something to cherish and to nurture. And yes, could you do it without being married? For sure. That doesn't really make that difference, but I think it's a very symbolic day together. You're doing it in front of your family and your friends, So, and I think also for myself, it's like to prove it. Is that the right word? Maybe it is. Maybe to prove it to the world that marriages can survive. Even though the Germans, when they say marriage, it always sounds funny, doesn't it? It's about surviving because 50% of marriages getting divorced nowadays. So I guess that's actually good motivation. You show, okay, there's actually, we can do it better. We can show the world that we also stay together for like 60 years, and working on the relationship, not just getting married. I think getting married is one step, but then constantly, working in the relationship, being in the relationship, supporting each other, being aligned, having goals together. Yes, I'm looking forward for that, after we have this big day, one day, hopefully soon.
Yeah, man, and that's a massive milestone. Your grandparents being together that long, and Eric, for you, my man, like if you're committed to mowing your lawn, then you're gonna be together for 100 years, right?
I got the new lawnmower. Yeah, it's still going strong. Yeah, it's about 3 months old now. Yeah.
Still in the box, mate. Still in the box. Come on.
It needs petrol, Eric. You got.
That's right. Going strong.
Yeah, love it, love it. And like when I first moved out with Carly, right? My mum, she said like, do whatever you want, but make sure you get married before you have a kid. Like literally, that were her words, right? But as you guys, like Eric, you've got little Sophia, before like, and you're still not married. Like Shane, you had or I think Ezra came after, but like Ezra was on the way, right? My brother has a kid and he's not married, right? So you can see like those norms and those old school thinking, is kind of like falling away, right? For you, Shane, right? Knowing that all of this is happening here, right? Is marriage something that you will kind of like push Ezra into, or just accept whatever happens moving forward? Yeah, like it's interesting how we still want to do it, and is that something we're going to force onto our kids? Yeah.
Nah, totally up to them. Totally up to them. And for all the boys, if they want to get married, they do. If they want to live a life with someone and not get married, then fine. That's I don't have any objections to either way, as long as they're happy. That's the most important thing. As long as they're happy and they're happy in what they're doing, then it doesn't worry me either way.
Yeah, and so, but here's the question: do you think, and maybe it's different for girls, right? I don't know. Like, what are your thoughts around Sophia and that, Eric?
Hmm. Ooh, it's a good question. Haven't really thought about that. I think we will have the conversation. Maybe it's more so to have a conversation with Tiff, what we think. It's all about the modeling again. Good old topic about whatever we are modeling. If they see us, being happy in the marriage together, then I guess that's what Sophia is striving for as well. Want to do the same. But yeah, haven't made up my mind yet. I think it would be nice, especially when I'm thinking again, times we're living in now, and young women, what role models they have. I mean, or OnlyFans or whatever, So that seems to be like the culture and like the goals for a lot of young women to make money and to have a good job and all of that. Nothing wrong about that, about making money and working. But I guess there's something about think about our mothers and grandmothers, getting married very early, and that's the role. And you say that they were less happier life. Maybe not. So I think in that sense, for like a woman, I would say it's rather than rating, like we are a good example, right? Tiff is, I don't want to say her age on record, but we're in our 30s. In our 30s, yeah.
Where's
So
Londa? I thought she was in her 20s, man.
exactly. She looks like she's in her 20s, but she's in her 30s, yeah. Big
And
surprise.
because she's with you, she feels like she's in her 40s. Come on, let's be honest.
Yeah. So I think we have an example for like waiting a bit longer. But I guess, finding the right person, working on yourself always, knowing what you want.
Yeah.
And then, the right person will come into your life.
Yeah, hey, 100%, definitely, most definitely. And just quickly before we tap into that last bit that you shared there, but like I'm like of that same mindset of you, Shane, where you mentioned that yeah, look, they're happy. If they're happy, then that's all that matters. And then because like outside of me, my sister was was the next wedding in our family, right? And I I've been to my cousin's weddings. I've been to like weddings of friends. I've been to countless weddings, and like I had fun, but to be honest, like I wasn't really affected, right? Like yeah, I was happy for them. But when my sister got married, I welled up at moments, right? Like I welled up, and it was really emotional. I had to wipe my eyes a couple of times, and and I just thought to myself, wow, if I'm this happy for, like, and this emotional for my sister, I can only imagine what it'll be, when my boys do this, if they choose to do this, right? So like secretly, like, yeah, man, like I really want them to do it because like I'm selfish, right, on that front. But also I was like, I'm also respectful of the path that they choose as well. But like that was just something that I recognized, over the weekend. I was like, yeah, man, I really hope they do, and share that enjoyment and share that love with everyone. But just finally, like we know that marriage is a celebration, right? It's a celebration. It's symbolic, but behind that marriage is the relationship. And if we were to like bring it back to that, from your own experiences, and we'll start with you, Eric. What do you believe are the key foundations for having a healthy, happy, and thriving relationship?
I think what comes to mind is trust, trusting each other. It comes about this connection and alignment. Maybe that's the three thing, trust in each other and that we have each other's back. Then the alignment for our goals. Obviously, for us, when I think about Tivna was to start our family. Okay, tick, started the family, okay, got engaged, awesome. Next one is wedding. Okay, got a house, all right. So then, but what's the next steps? And I have these conversations with Tiff, what are we working towards now? Yes, more kids. Then something about, creating some kind of wealth, investments, all of us that experiences together. So yeah, being aligned there, and not just because that's what I can see for a lot of fathers that I work with. Once you have kids, that's usually the goal: having kids, having a family, having the house. But then it's kind of okay. What's next? What are we working towards now? So or like even enjoying, even experiences. So that's alignment, that's trust, and what's the last one I said? I even forgot it. Connection. Was it connection? Yeah. So how do we connect? On a daily, weekly basis. How do we still date each other? Like in the beginning, before kids. How do we still keep the spark, keep the fire in the relationship? It's obviously different, with like smaller kids, but yeah, still making an effort. And like we work on our businesses, like we work on ourselves, on our bodies, we also keep working on our relationships. I think that's so important. And this the infinite game of relationships, it never stops. Doesn't matter if you have a really good relationship, like if you have a really good body, you don't just stop going to the gym and looking after yourself. You still have to maintain it. I think the same in the relationships and ups and downs and, sickness is happening and other tragedies, and we're working through that together. But speaking with Tiff often, it's like you're building so much, history together, so much connection together. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Not easy. Like we know, relationships the hardest and the most painful, but also the most beautiful thing we can have. So that's what marriage means to me.
Yeah, beautiful, man. Beautiful. So, in order to keep looking jacked, you got to keep working at it. Same as your relationship.
That's it. That's it.
Same, and just for you there, Shane, same thing, Shane. What do you believe are the foundations for you for a strong relationship?
Well, a little. Well, I guess it's very aligned with what Eric was saying. Like he talked about alignment, but yeah, like it's same vision, like heading in the same direction, and then transparency through communication. So speaking up as soon as something seems out of place or something's not right for you or uncomfortable for you, or just speaking up and saying, "Hey, look, this is what's happening for me. This is where I'm at right now. Can we have a chat about it?" You get those right, and then anything's possible.
Yeah, I echo the same around communication, right? And it's like I'm not stereotyping all men, but as a man, that's something I had to work on, you know.
No,
And
stereotype them, mate. Stereotype them all.
stereotype, yeah, men are shit communicators, and and we have trouble being vulnerable, but that's something I'm thankful that Carly's helped me with, right, in overcoming that. And one of my key philosophies, like we all see it in movies that you find the one, all that kind of stuff. There's a magic clue for the one. I don't believe in the one. I believe in making the one work, right? And everything that you guys said there: communication, having trust, having respect for each other, transparency, being vulnerable with that other person, your partner. And if you do all those things and you keep working on it, then you're going to have a really, really strong relationship. So, guys, that's all for today. Guys, get married, don't get married, you know, be committed, don't be committed. That's your choice, right? But we all know that strong relationships are the core essence of, you know, having a successful marriage. And if that's something you want to do, then that's something, as the boys that have alluded to there, need to work towards and work on consistently. So on that note, hey, little Ezra there, Dad Bods, Dad Boss signing out for another week. Ezra, oh, come on, show your guns.
You're the top of his head, mate.